sought to chart the very limits of the known world. Raised in the bustling port city of Gallipoli, surrounded by stories of conquest and exploration, his destiny was written upon the waves. As a young man, Piri joined his uncle, the famed Ottoman Admiral Kemal Reis, whose fleet roamed the Mediterranean like phantoms. From the Aegean to the shores of North Africa, from the Italian coasts to the gates of Gibraltar, Piri witnessed not only battles and storms, but the vast and uncharted expanse of the world itself. He collected maps, fragments and tales, whispers from sailors who claimed to have seen lands beyond the horizon. When Kemal Reis fell in battle in 1511, Piri returned to Gallipoli with a treasure trove of knowledge and an obsession. He began compiling all he had learned into a monumental work that would change history, a world map unlike any other. This map, drawn in 1513, would soon shake the foundations of historical understanding. It depicted coastlines no European was supposed to have seen, most notably the western coast of Africa, South America, and even parts of Antarctica, drawn centuries before its official discovery. How could a 16th-century Ottoman admiral know such things? How could a map from 1513 portray the Antarctic coastline without ice? A detail not confirmed until modern satellite imaging. Scholars have puzzled over these questions for decades. Some suggest coincidence. Others insist it's the result of lost knowledge, remnants of an ancient, advanced civilization erased from time. But before delving into the enigma of the map itself, we must understand the mind of the man who created it. Piri Reis was meticulous. His notes reveal that he compiled his map using about 20 charts and mappa mundi, including maps from ancient Greek, Arab, Portuguese, and even a map drawn by Columbus himself. If true, this means that fragments of Christopher Columbus's lost map, the one that guided him across the Atlantic, may survive only through Piri Reis's work. But where did Columbus get his information? And who charted Antarctica before anyone supposedly knew it existed? In the shadows of these questions lies a deeper mystery, a whisper from a civilization that predated all known history. Part 1. The Forgotten Cartographer. In the dim corridors of forgotten history, where dust and silence conceal the echoes of truth, one name flickers like a dying flame: Piri Reis. Born around 1470 in the Ottoman port city of Gallipoli, he emerged from an age when the world itself was still a mystery, a time when oceans were boundaries rather than bridges, and maps were fragments of dreams drawn on parchment. From a young age, Piri was drawn to the sea's restless call. His childhood was surrounded by tales of conquest, merchants from distant lands, and sailors who whispered of islands unseen and kingdoms beyond the sunset. Yet unlike others who sought fortune or fame, Piri was fascinated by knowledge, the unseen patterns of the world, the order hidden beneath chaos. As a teenager, he joined the fleet of his uncle, the legendary Ottoman Admiral Kemal Reis, whose fleet roamed the Mediterranean like phantoms. From the Aegean to the shores of North Africa, from the Italian coasts to the gates of Gibraltar, Piri witnessed not only battles and storms, but the vast and uncharted expanse of the world itself. He collected maps, fragments and tales, whispers from sailors who claimed to have seen lands beyond the horizon. When Kemal Reis fell in battle in 1511, Piri returned to Gallipoli with a treasure trove of knowledge and an obsession. He began compiling all he had learned into a monumental work that would change history, a world map unlike any other. This map, drawn in 1513, would soon shake the foundations of historical understanding. It depicted coastlines no European was supposed to have seen, most notably the western coast of Africa, South America, and even parts of Antarctica, drawn centuries before its official discovery. How could an Ottoman admiral in 1513 depict Antarctica's true shoreline within the ice sheets that modern science only revealed through satellite imaging in the 20th century? The mystery deepened when scholars examined the map's inscriptions. Piri himself claimed he had used about 20 charts and mappa mundi, including a map drawn by Columbus. If true, this means that fragments of Christopher Columbus's lost map, the one that guided him across the Atlantic, may survive only through Piri Reis's work. But where did Columbus get his information? And who charted Antarctica before anyone supposedly knew it existed? In the shadows of these questions lies a deeper mystery, a whisper from a civilization that predated all known history. Part 1. The Forgotten Cartographer. In the dim corridors of forgotten history, where dust and silence conceal the echoes of truth, one name flickers like a dying flame: Piri Reis. Born around 1470 in the Ottoman port city of Gallipoli, he emerged from an age when the world itself was still a mystery, a time when oceans were boundaries rather than bridges, and maps were fragments of dreams drawn on parchment. From a young age, Piri was drawn to the sea's restless call. His childhood was surrounded by tales of conquest, merchants from distant lands, and sailors who whispered of islands unseen and kingdoms beyond the sunset. Yet unlike others who sought fortune or fame, Piri was fascinated by knowledge, the unseen patterns of the world, the order hidden beneath chaos. As a teenager, he joined the fleet of his uncle, the legendary Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis, whose fleet roamed the Mediterranean like phantoms. From the Aegean to the shores of North Africa, from the Italian coasts to the gates of Gibraltar, Piri witnessed not only battles and storms, but the vast and uncharted expanse of the world itself. He collected maps, fragments, and tales, whispers from sailors who claimed to have seen lands beyond the horizon. When Piri Reis fell in battle in 1511, Piri returned to Gallipoli with a treasure trove of knowledge and an obsession. He began compiling all he had learned into a monumental work that would change history, a world map unlike any other. This map, drawn in 1513, would soon shake the foundations of historical understanding. It depicted coastlines no European was supposed to have seen, most notably the western coast of Africa, South America, and even parts of Antarctica, drawn centuries before its official discovery. How could an Ottoman admiral in 1513 depict Antarctica's true shoreline within the ice sheets that modern science only revealed through satellite imaging in the 20th century? The mystery deepened when scholars examined the map's inscriptions. Piri himself claimed he had used about 20 charts and mappa mundi, including a map drawn by Columbus. If true, this means that fragments of Christopher Columbus's lost map, the one that guided him across the Atlantic, may survive only through Piri Reis's work. But where did Columbus get his information? And who charted Antarctica before anyone supposedly knew it existed? In the shadows of these questions lies a deeper mystery, a whisper from a civilization that predated all known history. Part 1. The Forgotten Cartographer.
Part 1. The Forgotten Cartographer. In the dim corridors of forgotten history, where dust and silence conceal the echoes of truth, one name flickers like a dying flame: Piri Reis. Born around 1470 in the Ottoman port city of Gallipoli, he emerged from an age when the world itself was still a mystery, a time when oceans were boundaries rather than bridges, and maps were fragments of dreams drawn on parchment. From a young age, Piri was drawn to the sea's restless call. His childhood was surrounded by tales of conquest, merchants from distant lands, and sailors who whispered of islands unseen and kingdoms beyond the sunset. Yet unlike others who sought fortune or fame, Piri was fascinated by knowledge, the unseen patterns of the world, the order hidden beneath chaos. As a teenager, he joined the fleet of his uncle, the legendary Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis, a man feared and respected across the Mediterranean. Under Kemal's command, Piri learned the art of navigation, the precision of celestial reading, and the value of recording every coastline, every current, every hidden rock that could spell life or death at sea. The Mediterranean was not just a battlefield to them. It was a living archive, a tapestry of ancient roots stretching back to the Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans. From North Africa's golden shores to the ports of Italy and Spain, Piri collected stories like relics. He spoke to captured sailors, traded with merchants, and examined whatever maps he could find. Faded parchments drawn by Arabs, Venetians, or unknown hands. In the quiet moments between storms, he sketched and measured, turning rumor into record. When Piri Reis perished in battle in 1511, the young navigator was left with grief and an obsession. He returned to Gallipoli, withdrawing from the sea to a small study filled with sea charts, instruments, and notes. There he began to assemble something extraordinary, a map of the entire known world. But what emerged from his hand was not merely a compilation of coastlines. It was a mosaic of forgotten knowledge, a convergence of maps that should not have existed together. The result was the world map of 1513, a masterpiece that, centuries later, would confound historians and scientists alike. On it were the western coasts of Africa, the eastern coastline of South America, and something far more mysterious, the northernmost edge of Antarctica, drawn with remarkable accuracy and without ice. How could an Ottoman admiral in 1513 depict Antarctica's true shoreline beneath the ice sheets that modern science only revealed through satellite imagery in the 20th century? The mystery deepened when scholars examined the map's inscriptions. Piri himself claimed he had used about 20 charts and mappe mundi, including one drawn by Christopher Columbus. If true, this fragment could be the last surviving echo of Columbus's lost map, the one he used to cross the Atlantic. But how did Columbus possess knowledge of lands yet unseen by Europeans? And more curiously, where did his sources come from? Some claim he inherited older charts passed secretly among explorers in royal courts. Others suggest something older still. Maps copied from even more ancient civilizations, passed down through the ages like sacred relics of forgotten worlds. The idea sounds impossible until one looks closer. The Piri Reis map shows latitudes and longitudes calculated with precision unknown in the early 16th century. The curvature of the Earth, the proportions of continents, the placement of islands, all eerily accurate as though drawn from an aerial perspective. This was centuries before the first flight, before satellites, before mankind ever saw the Earth from above. So who or what provided the original data? Did Piri Reis, unknowingly, preserve fragments of a civilization that once mapped the entire planet long before recorded history began? The answers, if they exist, lie not only in the ink of his map, but in the silence between its lines. As he wrote in his marginal notes, Piri did not claim discovery, he claimed inheritance. His words, carefully inked beside the coasts of strange lands, whisper humility and awe. This section shows the coasts of the western lands, drawn from the ancient maps and the charts of the Portuguese. But some of these ancient maps no longer exist and may never have been known to history at all. Was Piri Reis the last messenger of a hidden lineage of knowledge, one that stretched back to the dawn of civilization? As we turn the parchment of time, we find ourselves staring at the impossible, a map that should not exist, a truth that history was never meant to reveal. When the Piri Reis Map was rediscovered in 1929, hidden within the dusty archives of Istanbul's Topkapi Palace, the world of cartography changed forever. Drawn on a fragment of gazelle skin, the map's colors had faded with centuries, yet its precision remained hauntingly clear. Historians expected a simple navigational chart. What they found instead was a paradox carved in ink. The map depicted the coastlines of South America and what appeared to be Antarctica, perfectly positioned relative to Africa. Yet in 1513, no explorer had ever reached those southern polar regions, and even more inexplicably, the coastline of Antarctica was drawn without ice, showing rivers, mountains, and valleys buried under kilometers of frozen mass today. Modern science wouldn't confirm that subglacial terrain until 1958, when seismic data from the International Geophysical Year revealed Antarctica's true shape beneath the ice sheets. And yet Piri Reis had drawn it 445 years earlier. How is that possible? The impossible precision. Experts at the U.S. Hydrographic Office were among the first to examine the map after its rediscovery. They were stunned. The geographic coordinates of the South American coast were almost exact, matching satellite measurements made centuries later. One expert remarked, "It appears that some of the source maps used by Piri Reis were based on a projection that could only be obtained from aerial surveying." Aerial surveying in the 1500s. That single observation opened a doorway to a realm of forbidden history. If Piri's sources were based on such advanced methods, who created them? Could there have been an earlier civilization, one that understood the Earth's spherical geometry and could map it from above? Ancient knowledge, forgotten hands. Piri himself noted that he had drawn from 20 different maps. Among them were Portuguese charts, Arab sea maps, and, most intriguingly, maps of ancient times. But these ancient maps remain unidentified. Some scholars believe they may have originated from the Library of Alexandria, whose destruction erased centuries of knowledge from human memory. Others suggest connections to the ancient Minoans, Phoenicians, or even a pre-Diluvian civilization, one that flourished before the last ice age. If true, it would mean that Piri Reis, unknowingly, copied fragments of a prehistoric world map preserved through millennia in secret archives, passed from hand to hand, from Egypt to Greece, from Araby to the Ottoman Empire.
The lost source. Among alternative historians, this elusive origin is known simply as the unknown source. A source older than civilization itself, older than writing, older than myth. Could it have been Atlantis? Plato wrote of a great maritime empire that existed 9,000 years before the time of Solon, a civilization that mastered the seas before being swallowed by the ocean. If such a culture truly existed, It would have had both the motive and the means to map the Earth. And when it vanished, fragments of its knowledge might have survived, hidden within temples, scrolls, or stones, later rediscovered by early navigators who never understood their true origin. Some researchers point to another connection, the ancient maps of Oronte Phineas, 1531, and Boucher, 1737, both of which also depict Antarctica without ice, matching the Piri Reis enigma. Different cartographers, separated by centuries, yet seemingly drawing from the same hidden well of knowledge. The voice of skepticism. Mainstream historians dismiss these claims as coincidence. They argue that the so-called Antarctica might simply be a distorted representation of South America's southern coast, misaligned through primitive cartographic techniques. They remind us that the human mind tends to find patterns even where none exist. But even skeptics admit the Piri Reis Map contains mathematical accuracies that defy explanation for its era. Its use of a spherical trigonometric projection suggests understanding of the Earth's curvature that predates modern geodesy. Its representation of distances and angles between continents aligns with the Mercator projection, invented decades after Piri Reis's time. In short, the map behaves as though it was built upon a global reference system, something that shouldn't have existed in the 1500s. A message across time. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all lies not in the map's geography, but in its symbolism. Piri's handwriting, carefully inscribed on the margins, tells a story few have noticed. He describes how the original charts came from the time of Alexander, how they were copied and preserved by wise men of the ancient world. Could this be literal? Or was Piri, in his own poetic way, hinting at something he himself barely understood? The echo of a civilization whose knowledge outlived its memory. The gazelle skin parchment, worn and fragile, has become more than an artifact. It is a whisper from an earlier world. A message from an age when the earth was young, when continents were drawn not by explorers, but by gods. Part 2. The Map That Shouldn't Exist, Extended Edition. When the Piri Reis Map was rediscovered in 1929 inside a forgotten cabinet of the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, it was little more than a curiosity, a faded fragment of parchment drawn on gazelle skin, its edges torn by centuries of neglect. But when scholars unrolled it, what they found was not just a map. It was a contradiction, a document that shouldn't exist. It depicted the known world as Europeans imagined it in 1513, and then something beyond that. Alongside the recognizable outlines of Africa and South America, appeared a stretch of coastline far to the south, curved, detailed, and precise. It matched the contours of Queen Maud Land, a portion of Antarctica buried beneath 2 kilometers of ice. For centuries, the Earth's southern pole had been a blank mystery, and yet here it was, inked on a 15th-century Ottoman map, centuries before the first human ever set foot there. The shock of discovery. At first, historians dismissed it as coincidence. But in 1956, a group of U.S. Air Force cartographers examined the Piri Reis map during a study of early navigation. They compared its details with newly gathered seismic data of Antarctica's subglacial terrain. The match was uncanny.
The map did not depict the frozen continent as it appears today, but as it would have looked thousands of years ago, before the ice. This revelation ignited one of the greatest historical enigmas of the 20th century. How could a man in 1513 have drawn a map based on geological conditions that hadn't existed for over 6,000 years? Had Piri Reis copied an older source, one far older than any known civilization? The scientist's dilemma.
The shock of discovery. At first, historians dismissed it as coincidence. But in 1956, a group of U.S. Air Force cartographers examined the Piri Reis map during a study of early navigation. They compared its details with newly gathered seismic data of Antarctica's subglacial terrain. The match was uncanny. The map did not depict the frozen continent as it appears today, but as it would have looked thousands of years ago before the ice. This revelation ignited one of the greatest historical enigmas of the 20th century. How could a man in 1513 have drawn a map based on geological conditions that hadn't existed for over 6,000 years? Had Piri Reis copied an older source, one far older than any known civilization?
The scientist's dilemma. When Captain Arlington H.M. Mallory presented his analysis to the U.S. Hydrographic Office, the chief of the division, Harold Z. Ohlmeyer, wrote an astonishing statement. "It is beyond our comprehension how this map can be so accurate. The geographical detail shown in the lower part of the map agrees remarkably with the results of the seismic profile made across the top of the ice cap by the Swedish-British Antarctic expedition of 1949. Ohlmeyer's conclusion was cautious but extraordinary. This indicates that the original source maps must have been made before the ice cover appeared. In other words, before 4000 BCE, long before Sumer, Egypt, or any known maritime civilization existed. Echoes from a forgotten age. What kind of culture could have charted Antarctica before recorded history? Some point to the ancient Egyptians, whose knowledge of astronomy and geometry was unparalleled. Others turn to the Phoenicians, the master sailors of the Mediterranean, or even the ancient Greeks who preserved fragments of older wisdom through legends. But none of these civilizations fit the timeline. To map Antarctica before the Ice Age, one must go back 12,000 years, to an era when glaciers still gripped the northern hemisphere, to a world few dare to imagine. It is here that the theories of a lost civilization emerge. The name given to it, whispered across millennia, is Atlantis. The memory of Atlantis. Plato's dialogues Timaeus and Critias describe a great island empire that ruled the sea before being swallowed by a cataclysm. He claimed it lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar, and that it vanished in a single day and night of misfortune. Modern scholars dismiss it as allegory, but what if Plato's account was not fiction, but memory? What if the story of Atlantis preserved the echo of a civilization that once mapped the world and passed fragments of its knowledge down to Egypt, to Greece, to the very maps Piri Reis later studied? If so, then the Piri Reis map might not be a creation at all, but a survival. A surviving window into a lost epic. Hidden knowledge and ancient archives. Legends tell of sacred libraries that once held the wisdom of the ancients, repositories of forgotten science and celestial knowledge. The most famous, the Library of Alexandria, was said to contain scrolls from across the ancient world,
Babylonian star charts, Egyptian geometry, Indian astronomy, and maps brought from beyond the known seas. When the library burned, that knowledge was thought to be lost forever. But what if fragments survived? Hidden in monastic archives, copied in secret by Arab geographers, preserved by Byzantine scholars, and eventually inherited by Ottoman hands. Piri Reis himself wrote, "This map was drawn from 20 charts and Mappe Mundi, and from the map of Columbus." Columbus's original map has never been found. Yet some historians speculate that Columbus, too, possessed copies of ancient charts, possibly obtained through Moorish or Portuguese navigators, charts that showed lands across the Atlantic long before their discovery. So where did those come from? What ancient hands traced those coastlines for the first time? Beyond logic, beyond time. To this day, no one has fully explained the mathematical accuracy of the Piri Reis map. Its projection aligns with the curvature of the Earth as though it had been drawn from a global perspective, something impossible without advanced instruments or aerial observation. Some theorists, cautiously, propose that these early maps could have been compiled from aerial or satellite-like views, remnants of a pre-cataclysmic civilization that once possessed high-level technology or astronomy. Others suggest a simpler, yet no less profound explanation. Humanity has forgotten how old it truly is. Perhaps there have been cycles of civilization, rises and falls, where knowledge was lost, only to be rediscovered centuries later. Each cycle leaves traces, a myth, a ruin, a map. And perhaps, in the quiet ink of Piri Reis's parchment, we are looking at one of those traces, a ghost of an age erased from human memory.
A whisper across the ages. The Piri Reis map is more than a mystery. It is a question written in ink, a message passed through time from hands that knew the shape of the world before we did. As the 20th century's scholars studied its contours, some dismissed it, others feared it, for it suggested that our history might not be a straight line, but a circle. And at the center of that circle lies something humanity has long forgotten, the memory of who we once were. Part 3. The Lost Knowledge of the Ancients. There are moments in history when the past feels closer than the present, when fragments of ancient truth pierce through the veil of time. The Piri Reis map is one such fragment. It whispers not only of coastlines and continents, but of something far greater, the forgotten genius of humanity itself. Echoes from before time. Long before the rise of Greece or Rome, before Egypt raised its stone giants to the heavens, there may have existed an age lost to memory, an era when mankind's understanding of the earth and the cosmos far exceeded what we dare to imagine. Every ancient culture, scattered across distant continents, speaks of it in myth. The Sumerians called it the time of the Anunnaki, beings who descended from the heavens, bringing knowledge of the stars. The Egyptians told of the age of Zep-Tepi, the first time, when gods walked among men and shaped the Nile Valley. In the Andes, the Incas remembered Viracocha, the shining god who taught them to build and navigate. And across the Atlantic, Plato wrote of a great and noble civilization that vanished beneath the sea. Are these myths mere stories, or fractured memories of a real epoch when humanity's first science and navigation flourished under forgotten skies? If the Piri Reis map indeed draws from sources predating history, then those myths may not be fantasy, They may be recollections of a civilization before civilization. The secret archives. Through the centuries, whispers of forbidden knowledge have surfaced again and again. In Egypt, the Temple of Edfu speaks of scrolls of Thoth, hidden records of the world before the flood. In Mesopotamia, clay tablets describe the maps of the heavens, charting the movement of stars with mathematical precision. In India, the Vedas speak of flying crafts and cities that shone like suns. Could these accounts represent the same legacy, fragments of an ancient archive scattered across the world? If so, it might explain how knowledge of the globe survived long enough to find its way into the hands of Arab geographers, Portuguese explorers, and eventually into the meticulous drawings of Piri Reis. What if the map itself is not the message, but the evidence of a message passed across thousands of years? The cataclysm. Many myths speak of a great flood, a cataclysm that wiped away the old world. The Bible's Noah, the Sumerian Utnapishtim, the Greek Deucalion, all tell the same story. Science, too, now acknowledges that around 10,800 BCE, a sudden global event marked the end of the Ice Age. Melting glaciers, rising seas, and the destruction of coastal civilizations that could have existed along now drowned shores. Imagine the knowledge of such a world, libraries, observatories, maps, swept away beneath the waves. Imagine only fragments surviving, carried by sailors, refugees, or priests, preserved in symbols, stories, and sacred scrolls. Millennia later, those fragments resurface, copied by Egyptian scribes, studied by Greek philosophers, refined by Arab mathematicians, and finally traced by an Ottoman admiral's steady hand. Thus, the Piri Reis Map becomes not the beginning of the mystery, but the end, the final echo of an intelligence that once spanned the earth. The hidden geometry. Modern researchers have discovered that certain ancient monuments align with celestial bodies, the pyramids of Giza with Orion's belt, Stonehenge with the solstices, and the ruins of Tiahuanaco with the equinox. But beneath these alignments lies something deeper, a geometry of Earth itself. Some claim that the Piri Reis Map, when analyzed using geodesic coordinates, aligns perfectly with this global geometry, as though it were drawn on a mathematical grid encircling the planet, connecting sacred sites across continents. It is as if the ancients not only mapped the world's surface, but understood its energetic structure, the invisible lines of power that modern science calls magnetic fields or ley lines. If such knowledge truly existed, it would mean that ancient man was not primitive at all, but the inheritor of a vast cosmic science, one that viewed the earth as a living organism, perfectly measured, perfectly known.
The Great Forgetting. What happened to that knowledge? How does a civilization capable of mapping Antarctica vanish into myth? Perhaps the answer is not destruction, but forgetting. As ages turned and languages changed, meaning eroded. The astronomer became the priest, the navigator a legend, the library a temple. And so the wisdom of the ancients, stripped of context, became religion, ritual, and myth, until only faint symbols remained. By the time Piri Reis drew his map, the chain of knowledge had already broken. He worked not from understanding, but from inheritance, copying fragments of charts that had already passed through countless hands. In his careful lines, he preserved not the science, but the memory of a world that once was. A glimpse beyond history. Today, the Piri Reis Map remains a paradox. For some, it is proof that our ancestors were far more advanced than we believe. For others, it is a reminder that knowledge, like civilization itself, is fragile. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere between. Perhaps the map is a bridge, connecting what we know with what we have forgotten. A whisper from the deep past, reminding us that history is not a straight path, but a spiral, circling endlessly around the same mysteries. And if we listen closely, we might hear what Piri Reis himself once heard, the faint echo of ancient voices carried on the wind, saying, "You have not discovered the world, you have rediscovered it."
The lost knowledge of the ancients. Continued. Across the sands of time, traces of knowledge endure, hidden beneath layers of myth, legend, and decay. The ancients understood something modern humanity is only beginning to rediscover, that the Earth is not merely a stage for events, but a living, measurable, and interconnected entity. The Piri Reis Map offers a fragment of this forgotten science. But to understand its true significance, one must look beyond the inked lines and ponder the sources of ancient wisdom. Civilizations before civilization. Long before recorded history, there were those who studied the stars not as lights in the sky, but as coordinates in a cosmic map. The Sumerians recorded celestial movements with astonishing precision, tracking planets and predicting eclipses. Their cuneiform tablets hint at knowledge that seems inconceivable for their era. In Egypt, the priests of Thoth maintained hidden libraries containing astronomical charts and navigational secrets passed down from earlier civilizations. Temples, pyramids, and obelisks aligned with celestial bodies suggest a level of surveying and mathematics that challenges conventional timelines. Could there have been a pre-Ice Age maritime civilization, a people with the ability to navigate global waters and map continents with near-perfect accuracy? If so, the Piri Reis Map may be the final link connecting our present to that lost epic. Antarctica before the ice. One of the most astonishing elements of Piri Reis's map is the depiction of Antarctica. Unlike the frozen, unyielding landmass we know today, the map shows coastlines, mountains, and river valleys, features that lie beneath kilometers of ice. Modern geological studies indicate that Antarctica was largely ice-free around 6,000 to 12,000 BCE, a period that coincides with the proposed timing of an ancient global civilization's demise due to rising seas and cataclysmic floods. Could the map be a relic of that world? Could it have been copied from charts created before the Great Deluge, preserved across generations, and eventually reaching the hands of Piri Reis? The spread of knowledge. The journey of ancient knowledge is as mysterious as its origin. Maps may have traveled through Egyptian temples where scribes copied celestial charts, Greek scholars who cataloged and interpreted ancient wisdom, Arab geographers who preserved the manuscripts during the European Dark Ages, Portuguese and Spanish explorers who carried these secrets across oceans. Each step diluted context, obscured meaning, and embedded mystery into the map. By the time Piri Reis compiled his charts in 1513, the information was already a mosaic of fragments spanning millennia.
The mystery of sources. In the margin of his map, Piri Reis wrote, "This map was composed from about 20 charts and mappi mundi, 8 of which are the charts of our time, 1 drawn by Columbus, and some from the time of Alexander." This cryptic note raises more questions than answers. What did he mean by the time of Alexander? Maps from the Hellenistic period, or remnants of civilizations predating even the Greeks? Some theorists suggest the existence of a lost global civilization capable of mapping the planet with a scientific sophistication that modern historians cannot yet explain. Others propose a network of ancient knowledge carefully preserved across cultures, with Piri Reis as its unexpected inheritor. The significance of geometry. Beyond the contours of continents, the map reflects an understanding of Earth's curvature and coordinate systems. The projection of the map aligns with modern geodesic measurements, suggesting that Piri Reis worked not merely as a compiler, but as a translator of lost precision. Some researchers even speculate that the map encodes information about magnetic anomalies, ocean currents, and ley lines, hints that the ancients understood the planet as a network of natural energies, not merely land and water. A whisper across millennia. Ultimately, the Piri Reis map is not just a navigational tool, it is a whisper across time, a fragment of intelligence that challenges our assumptions about the past. It reminds us that knowledge can survive the rise and fall of civilizations, carried quietly in maps, myths, and symbols, waiting to be deciphered. In its faded ink and delicate lines, Piri Reis preserved more than coastlines. He preserved a memory of a world before history, a world that once knew the shape of continents and the patterns of the stars. And as we study the map today, we are not only reading geography, we are glimpsing a legacy older than recorded time, a bridge between what is known and what has been forgotten. Centuries after Piri Reis carefully traced coastlines on gazelle skin, his map continued to whisper secrets to those who dared to listen. It was more than ink and parchment. It was a bridge across time, connecting explorers, scientists, and dreamers with a reality that defied conventional history. Influence on modern science. When the Piri Reis map resurfaced in 1929, cartographers and geographers were stunned. Its depiction of South America and parts of Antarctica seemed almost prophetic. In laboratories and naval offices, researchers began to measure its coordinates, compare coastlines, and analyze its grid-like projection. Many agreed the map displayed knowledge centuries ahead of its time, evidence that our ancestors might have possessed more than primitive tools. They might have possessed an understanding of Earth's geometry and its magnetic fields.
Military and scientific agencies even took note. During World War II, naval intelligence reportedly studied the map, seeking clues about uncharted waters and navigational secrets. The map's legacy extended beyond history. It became a tool of exploration, a guide in imagination as well as in strategy. A catalyst for mystery and theory. The map ignited theories that spanned the boundaries of science, history, and speculation. Some researchers posit that Piri Reis was preserving fragments of prehistoric global knowledge passed down from ancient civilizations long lost beneath the waves. Others see echoes of Atlantis, prehistoric Antarctica, or even unknown ancient technologies embedded within the lines. Every scholar, every enthusiast who gazes upon the map is forced to ask, how much of human history has been forgotten? What knowledge once existed that we have yet to rediscover? It is not simply a historical document, it is a mirror reflecting our ignorance and our curiosity simultaneously. The map as a symbol. Beyond its practical or historical value, the Piri Reis map has come to symbolize something larger: humanity's insatiable desire to know the world, to chart the unknown, and to reach beyond the limits imposed by time and circumstance. It reminds us that knowledge is transient, but curiosity is eternal. Every line, every annotation, every carefully measured coast invites us to imagine. Who first mapped these lands? How did their knowledge survive millennia? And what else lies hidden, waiting to be discovered? Continuing the quest. Modern explorers, historians, and archaeologists continue to study the map, seeking clues about ancient navigation methods, lost civilizations, the origins of geographic knowledge, and the mysterious connection between human memory and the Earth itself.
Through satellites, deep-sea exploration, and advanced mapping technologies, we now have tools that Piri Reis could never have dreamed of. Yet even with modern science, the questions the map raises remain largely unanswered. It stands as a testament that even in a world dominated by data and technology, the past still holds secrets that challenge our understanding. The Piri Reis map is more than lines on parchment. It is a legacy of wonder, urging each generation to explore, question, and imagine. A final reflection. In the end, the legacy of Piri Reis is not limited to geography or navigation. It is the human impulse to reach beyond the known, to preserve knowledge against the tide of time, and to whisper across centuries through ink and parchment. The map asks nothing of us but attention, an invitation to consider that history is not a single linear story. It is a web of mysteries, a spiral connecting the ancient and modern, the seen and unseen, the known and the unknowable. And in its faded minds and fragile parchment, Piri Reis left us a gift, a glimpse of a world larger than we thought possible, and a reminder that curiosity, above all, endures. Part 5. Uncharted Mysteries and the Human Pursuit. The Piri Reis map is not merely a relic of the past, it is a compass for the human imagination, pointing toward questions that remain unanswered. It challenges our understanding of history, technology, and the very capabilities of civilizations long lost to time. Modern explorations. With the advent of satellite imagery, deep-sea sonar, and polar expeditions, the continents depicted in Piri Reis's map have been examined in meticulous detail. Researchers have compared coastlines, topography, and geological formations, uncovering uncanny correlations between the map's outlines and the modern contours of lands that were supposedly unknown in 1513. Yet even the origin of the knowledge remains a mystery. Could this information have survived the millennia through oral tradition, secret archives, or hidden networks of ancient scholars? Or does it hint at something more extraordinary, that humans once possessed a global awareness far beyond what history records? Theories of the unknown source. Scholars and enthusiasts have proposed numerous explanations for the map's accuracy. Survival of prehistoric knowledge, civilizations that existed before recorded history, possibly dating back to the end of the last ice age, had the capability to map the world accurately. Atlantean origins. Plato's lost civilization with advanced maritime knowledge may have left charts that survived in fragments. Ancient seafarers, cultures like the Phoenicians or Minoans, may have traveled far beyond their recognized spheres, passing knowledge along through secret maritime networks. Celestial mapping. Some researchers suggest the map incorporates astronomical methods, using the stars to measure latitudes and longitudes long before the invention of precise navigational instruments. Each theory opens new avenues of inquiry, but none provides a definitive answer. The map as a reflection of human curiosity. Perhaps the true legacy of Piri Reis's map is not just its content, but its ability to ignite the human desire to explore the unknown. It reminds us that curiosity is timeless,
The same drive that pushed sailors across uncharted seas, that guided ancient astronomers in observing the stars, that inspired cartographers to map the heavens and the earth, lives within us today. It also serves as a warning. Knowledge, no matter how profound, is fragile. The world Piri Reis glimpsed, through maps, fragments, and whispers, is a reminder that civilizations rise and fall, that wisdom can be lost, and that only through careful preservation and study can humanity retain its connection to the past.
Echoes across time. Every line on the Piri Reis map carries a story of ancient journeys, forgotten lands, and the mysterious forces that shape the Earth's surface. It suggests that our understanding of history is incomplete, and that the past may hold technologies, discoveries, and insights that predate our modern era. To study the map is to enter a dialogue with history itself, to imagine who first saw these lands, to consider what knowledge has been erased or hidden, to recognize that the world is far larger and more complex than any single generation can comprehend. A timeless legacy. In the end, the Piri Reis map is more than a document. It is a symbol of the eternal human quest for knowledge, for discovery, and for connection with the unseen world. Its existence forces us to ask, what else lies hidden, waiting for those who dare to seek it? How much of human history remains buried beneath time, ice, or myth? And if the past can survive in fragile parchment, what might we yet uncover about the future? The map leaves us with no answers, only questions. And in those questions, it grants a gift, the reminder that curiosity, wonder, and the pursuit of knowledge are the true legacies of humanity. Part 5. Uncharted Mysteries and the Human Pursuit, Extended Version. The Piri Reis map does more than chart coastlines. It stretches the mind across centuries, demanding that we question what we know and what we have forgotten. Its inked lines are not mere representations of land and sea. They are echoes of civilizations that may have existed before history itself, whispers of knowledge that survived cataclysms and the erosion of time. It's traveled invisibly across continents and centuries until it reached Piri Reis's hand. Connections to lost civilizations.
Theories abound. Atlantis. Plato described a highly advanced maritime empire that vanished in a single day and night. Could fragments of its knowledge have survived through oral tradition and secret archives? Prehistoric Antarctica. Geological data suggests that parts of Antarctica were ice-free in the distant past. The map's depiction of these areas suggests an awareness of lands now buried beneath kilometers of ice. Ancient seafaring cultures. Phoenicians, Minoans, or other early civilizations may have traversed vast oceans, leaving cryptic knowledge embedded in maps, myths, and temple inscriptions. Every line on the map becomes a puzzle piece, hinting at a web of knowledge that spanned the globe long before humans recorded their history. Modern analysis and mysteries. When scholars examined the map in the 20th century, they found extraordinary accuracy in distances, angles, and continental placement. Some noted that its projection aligns with modern geodetic calculations, suggesting a level of sophistication that should have been impossible for the 1500s. The U.S. Hydrographic Office and other scientific institutions observed, "It is beyond comprehension how this map depicts regions accurately, particularly the southern coasts of South America and parts of Antarctica. Yet no clear explanation exists. Was this knowledge preserved from ancient civilizations? Was it derived from lost manuscripts hidden in temples, libraries, and private collections over thousands of years? Or is it a mystery that challenges our understanding of history itself?" The human pursuit of the unknown. Beyond scientific curiosity, The Piri Reis Map embodies a deeper truth: humanity's relentless desire to explore the unknown. From ancient mariners following the stars, to Renaissance explorers crossing oceans, to modern scientists mapping the Earth from satellites, we are drawn to the edges of knowledge, compelled to uncover what is hidden. The map acts as a timeless guide, a symbol of the enduring human quest, to seek answers where none seem possible, to connect with civilizations long forgotten, to wonder at the mysteries that defy explanation. Whispers across time. In its faded ink, the map speaks to us today. It reminds us that the past is not linear, but layered with forgotten wisdom. It hints at knowledge lost in the cycles of civilization, waiting for those willing to look carefully. It challenges us to imagine a world where human understanding once reached heights we have yet to rediscover. Some see the map as a riddle from the ancients, others as a warning that knowledge can vanish if not preserved, and that human progress is fragile and fleeting.
The mystery remains. Even as satellites scan Antarctica and oceans are charted in exquisite detail, the Piri Reis Map retains its power to fascinate and confound. It is not merely a historical artifact, but a mirror reflecting our curiosity, our imagination, and our longing for understanding. The questions it poses remain unanswered. Who first mapped these lands? How was this knowledge transmitted across millennia? What other secrets of our ancient world await discovery? Perhaps the map's greatest gift is not in providing answers, but in inspiring wonder, reminding us that the universe, the Earth, and the story of humanity itself are far more mysterious than we can comprehend. Part 6. Philosophical Reflections and Deeper Connections. The Piri Reis Map is more than ink on parchment. It is a bridge across time, a doorway into the thoughts, ambitions, and intelligence of civilizations that may have existed long before recorded history. Its lines and curves suggest not just geography, but a world view, one that blends observation, measurement, and imagination into a tapestry of understanding lost to most of humanity. History as a spiral. History is often told as a straight line, one event leading to the next. Yet artifacts like the Piri Reis Map hinted something far more complex, a spiral of knowledge where discoveries are made, forgotten, and rediscovered in cycles. Civilizations rise and fall, floods wash away cities, libraries burn, and yet fragments of wisdom persist, waiting for someone to recognize them. This map whispers of a world older than our textbooks allow, of an intelligence that spans millennia, and of the fragile thread by which knowledge passes from one age to the next. The interconnectedness of human curiosity. Consider the map's journey, from ancient mariners navigating unknown seas, to scholars in Alexandria copying lost charts, to Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis compiling his fragmentary sources, to modern researchers studying the map under microscopes and satellites. Each step reflects a shared impulse, humanity's desire to know, to chart, to understand, and to leave something behind. The map is a testament not just to geography, but to human persistence, the enduring flame of curiosity. Symbols of forgotten knowledge. Some scholars suggest that, beyond the lines of land and sea, the map carries symbolic layers of meaning. The arrangement of continents, the precision of coastlines, and the references to ancient sources could encode lost astronomical knowledge, geometric insights about the Earth, connections between sacred sites across continents, and possibly warnings about the fragility of civilizations. These interpretations transform the Piri Reis Map from a simple chart into a philosophical artifact, a meditation on what it means to know, to forget, and to remember.
Questions that endure. Even as we measure, compare, and analyze, the map raises questions that may never be answered. Who first charted lands, now submerged or buried beneath ice? How did their knowledge survive through catastrophe, fire, and conquest? What truths about our world and ourselves have been lost to time? And how much of the Earth's story lies hidden, waiting to be uncovered? The Piri Reis Map challenges the boundaries of history, science, and imagination. It reminds us that knowledge is not linear, that the past holds layers of insight we are only beginning to recognize. And it suggests that human curiosity itself is a force more enduring than civilizations, wars, or natural cataclysms. Part 6. Philosophical Reflections and Deeper Connections. Extended version. The Piri Reis Map is more than a historical artifact. It is a conversation across millennia, a dialogue between those who first observed the Earth and those of us who still seek to understand it. Its existence challenges conventional timelines and forces us to reconsider what is truly possible. Could human knowledge have once surpassed what history credits to ancient civilizations? Or does the map reflect a continuity of wisdom, passed down secretly, meticulously preserved by generations of scholars, explorers, and visionaries? The lost wisdom of the ancients. Many ancient civilizations encoded knowledge in ways that transcended simple utility. The Egyptians aligned the pyramids of Giza with Orion's belt, embedding astronomy into stone. The Sumerians predicted eclipses centuries in advance, charting planetary movement with precision. Across the world, sacred sites mirror celestial patterns, suggesting a profound understanding of Earth's place in the cosmos. The Piri Reis Map may be a fragment of this ancient intelligence, a cartographic memory of a forgotten world, preserved through time despite floods, fires, and conquests. Its lines hint at a science lost to history, at global awareness that we are only beginning to comprehend. Cycles of forgetting and rediscovery. History is rarely linear. Knowledge is fragile, vulnerable to natural disasters, wars, and the passage of time. The great libraries of Alexandria, Babylon, and elsewhere were destroyed, yet fragments survived, carried across lands, hidden in monasteries, and copied into maps like that of Piri Reis. This pattern repeats through human history. Ideas rise, flourish, and vanish, only to be rediscovered centuries later, often in forms that seem miraculous. The map reminds us that human memory is both tenuous and resilient. Even as civilizations crumble, knowledge finds a way to endure, waiting for a new generation to awaken it. The map as a source of inspiration. Beyond its historical and scientific significance, the Piri Reis Map ignites imagination. Modern explorers, geologists, and historians study it not only to understand geography, but to reconnect with the spirit of discovery. It teaches a subtle lesson, that curiosity is timeless, that the pursuit of understanding is as important as knowledge itself, and that even a fragmentary map can challenge us to think beyond what is immediately visible. Mysteries that persist. Even today, questions linger. How were the coastlines of Antarctica and South America so accurately represented centuries before modern exploration? What ancient civilizations could have created such precise knowledge, and why did it survive in fragments? Are there other relics undiscovered that hold similar insights about our world and its forgotten history? Each unanswered question reminds us that history is a living puzzle. The Piri Reis Map does not merely depict land, it depicts possibility, a world in which knowledge is a thread, weaving past, present, and future together.
A call to wonder.
In studying the map, we confront the limits of our understanding. We see that humanity has been navigating the unknown for thousands of years, guided by curiosity, ingenuity, and a desire to record the world. The map challenges us to continue that journey, to seek, explore, and imagine, even when certainty is impossible. Perhaps the most profound lesson of all is this: the Piri Reis Map is not just a record of what was known, but an invitation to rediscover the forgotten, to honor the legacy of those who came before, and to embrace the mysteries that still lie beyond our comprehension. Part 7. Modern Discoveries, Science, and the Continuing Mystery. Centuries have passed since Piri Reis carefully traced coastlines with ink on fragile parchment, yet his map continues to captivate the minds of scientists, explorers, and historians, bridging the gap between the ancient and modern worlds. Scientific analysis and astonishing accuracy. When modern researchers studied the Piri Reis Map in the 20th century, they were struck by its astonishing precision. The coastlines of South America align with modern measurements with surprising accuracy. Portions of Antarctica, completely unknown in the 16th century and buried under kilometers of ice, are represented correctly. Geometrical projections indicate an understanding of Earth's curvature far beyond what Piri Reis himself could have achieved with the tools of his time. These findings raise profound questions. How did ancient sources obtain such precise measurements? Were their surveying techniques, instruments, or knowledge now lost to history? Could this map be a fragment of a global network of knowledge that predates recorded history? The map and technology. Modern technology has allowed scientists to probe the map like never before. Satellite imagery confirms subglacial coastlines in Antarctica that match Piri Reis's depictions. GIS, Geographic Information Systems analysis, suggests that the map's coordinates correspond closely to real-world measurements. Researchers have used digital overlays to compare the map with contemporary maps, uncovering correlations that defy explanation. Yet even with these tools, the origin of the knowledge remains a mystery. No clear records exist to explain how an Ottoman admiral in 1513 could access information about lands never charted by European explorers of his time. Explorers and the allure of the unknown. Throughout history, the Piri Reis Map has inspired explorers and adventurers. Maritime navigators in the Ottoman Empire and Europe studied fragments of ancient charts, seeking new routes across uncharted oceans. Modern expeditions to remote regions of Antarctica, South America, and Africa often cite the map as a symbol of human curiosity and a guide in the search for lost civilizations. The map serves as a bridge across time, connecting those who dreamed of discovery centuries ago with those who pursue knowledge today. Unsolved mysteries and theories. Despite extensive research, many aspects of the map remain unexplained. Theories range from plausible to extraordinary. Ancient seafarers. Some believe that civilizations far older than known history had the capability to navigate globally. Prehistoric Antarctic knowledge. Geological evidence suggests parts of Antarctica were ice-free in antiquity, possibly allowing ancient mariners to map its coasts. Atlantean or lost civilizations. Plato's Atlantis, often dismissed as myth, is sometimes linked to the map's precise depiction of unknown lands. Celestial and mathematical encoding. Certain experts argue that the map's design may incorporate astronomical and mathematical principles, encoding knowledge about the Earth's geometry. Each theory fuels fascination, proving that the map's mystery endures, inspiring new generations to explore, analyze, and imagine. The map as a symbol of human curiosity.
Ultimately, the Piri Reis Map is more than geography. It is a testament to the enduring human spirit. It reflects our desire to understand the unknown, to preserve knowledge, and to pass it across generations, even when the world changes or civilizations vanish. Through inked lines on fragile parchment, Piri Reis offers a window into the past and a mirror for the present.
A reminder that curiosity drives discovery, that knowledge is fragile but resilient, and that the pursuit of understanding is as old as humanity itself. Continuing the quest. Today, the map inspires scientists, historians, and adventurers alike. Oceanographers study submerged coastlines hinted at centuries ago. Archaeologists investigate ancient ruins that may align with the map's depictions. Theorists and enthusiasts debate lost civilizations, secret knowledge, and the unexplored potential of human intelligence. The Piri Reis Map reminds us that some mysteries never fully resolve. Yet the search, the questions, and the imagination it inspires are perhaps the map's greatest legacy, a call to continue exploring, learning, and marveling at the unknown. Part 7. Modern Discoveries, Science, and the Continuing Mystery. Extended version. Even centuries after Piri Reis meticulously traced coastlines, the map continues to defy conventional understanding. It is studied not only by historians and cartographers, but also by geologists, oceanographers, archaeologists, and even mathematicians, each seeking to decode its secrets. Geographical accuracy and scientific puzzles. One of the most remarkable aspects of the map is its accuracy in depicting lands that had not yet been fully explored. South America's southern coastlines shown with precision centuries before European explorers reached them. The Antarctic coastline, ice-free and detailed, long before modern technology revealed its subglacial topography. Islands and archipelagos in the Atlantic and Indian Oceans that were either undiscovered or inaccurately mapped by contemporary European sources. Modern mapping techniques such as satellite imaging, GIS, and geodetic analysis confirm correlations that are both startling and inexplicable. How could knowledge of Antarctica, buried under kilometers of ice, reach Piri Reis over 400 years ago? Theories of ancient knowledge transmission. Scholars and enthusiasts continue to debate. Prehistoric global civilizations. Did civilizations exist before the Ice Age with advanced maritime and cartographic capabilities? Atlantean origins. Could fragments of knowledge from the legendary Atlantis have survived to influence maps centuries later? Secret scholarly networks. Might ancient knowledge have been passed through priests, scholars, and navigators across continents hidden from the world? Astronomical and mathematical encoding. Some researchers argue that the map's design encodes celestial coordinates, longitude, latitude, and Earth's curvature, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of geography. Each theory opens doors to mysteries that continue to captivate the imagination. Inspiring modern exploration. The map is not just a historical curiosity, it actively inspires modern scientific and exploratory endeavors. Deep-sea expeditions search for submerged landscapes hinted at by ancient maps. Archaeologists explore sites along mysterious coastlines for evidence of lost settlements. Geologists study Antarctica's ice cores, confirming evidence of regions ice-free in prehistoric times, regions depicted on Piri Reis's chart. The map is a compass for the imagination, guiding both intellectual inquiry and adventure. A mirror for human curiosity. Beyond data and measurement, the Piri Reis Map reflects something profoundly human, our insatiable curiosity. It is a reminder that discovery is not just about technology or power, but about the desire to understand the unknown, to connect past knowledge with the present, and to leave insights for future generations. Enduring questions. Even today, the map poses questions that may never be fully answered. How far did ancient explorers travel, and what did they know? Which lost civilizations contributed to this knowledge? Are there other maps, artifacts, or texts waiting to reveal the depth of prehistoric intelligence? The Piri Reis Map exists at the intersection of science, history, and imagination. It challenges our assumptions, invites speculation, and reminds us that some mysteries endure not to be solved, but to inspire wonder.
The legacy continues. Ultimately, the map's legacy is not only in what it depicts, but in what it ignites in the human spirit. It is a testament to the continuity of knowledge across time, a symbol of curiosity that transcends generations, cultures, and civilizations. Even in an age of satellites and supercomputers, it continues to draw minds to the unknown, whispering that there is still much to learn, explore, and discover. Part 8. Cosmic Connections and the Philosophical Dimensions. The Piri Reis Map is more than a terrestrial chart. It is a portal to a larger understanding, connecting Earth, human history, and the cosmos itself. Its lines whisper not only of continents and coastlines, but of the ancient human desire to measure, map, and make sense of the universe. Mapping the heavens and the earth. Ancient civilizations often linked terrestrial knowledge with celestial observations. The Egyptians aligned monuments with stars, embedding astronomical wisdom in stone. The Babylonians and Mayans tracked planetary movements, eclipses, and cycles with extraordinary precision. The Piri Reis Map may be another example of this connection, a chart not just of the Earth, but a reflection of humanity's awareness of the heavens. Some researchers propose that the map encodes astronomical information, subtly reflecting the position of stars, the tilt of the Earth, or even ancient calendars. If true, it suggests that the map is not merely a record of geography, but a cosmic framework, linking ancient human observation to the patterns of the universe. The search for lost knowledge. Across millennia, civilizations rose and fell, carrying fragments of knowledge that were sometimes lost, sometimes hidden. The Piri Reis Map represents a preserved fragment of that global memory, suggesting that human understanding of the Earth and the stars may have once been more advanced than previously believed, that ancient civilizations may have possessed methods of navigation, measurement, and observation now lost to time. This raises profound philosophical questions. What is the nature of knowledge, and how much of it has been lost to history? Is human curiosity a continuous force that transcends generations, connecting us to ancestors we cannot know? Can a single artifact, like this map, serve as a bridge between the ancient, the modern, and the cosmic? Humanity's eternal curiosity. The Piri Reis Map reminds us that curiosity is timeless and universal. It is the same force that led humans to climb mountains, cross oceans, gaze at the stars, and record their findings for posterity. Even today, in an age of satellites and global communication, the map challenges us to look beyond what is immediately visible, to question, imagine, and explore. Mystery as a mirror. Perhaps the greatest lesson of the map is this: mystery itself is a guide. By confronting what we do not understand, humans are compelled to think creatively, to innovate, and to pursue knowledge across disciplines and generations.
The map's faded lines and fragmented origins serve as a mirror, reflecting not only the achievements of the past, but the limitless potential of the human mind. Bridging time and space. The map connects multiple dimensions. Time, linking ancient civilizations to the present day. Space, mapping lands and seas with accuracy that transcends centuries. Consciousness, symbolizing humanity's enduring quest to know the world, the stars, and itself. It reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is not merely academic or technological. It is philosophical, spiritual, and profoundly human. Every coastline drawn, every annotation made, every fragment preserved represents a gesture toward understanding the infinite, a human attempt to bridge the known and the unknown. Invitation to wonder. The Piri Reis map does not give answers, it provokes thought. It challenges us to ask, what ancient wisdom remains hidden, waiting to be discovered? How much knowledge has humanity lost, and how much remains to be found? And ultimately, what does it mean to understand the world? Not just its geography, but its mystery, its rhythm, and its connections to the cosmos.
In this sense, the map is both artifact and philosophy. It is a reminder that curiosity, imagination, and the pursuit of understanding are the true legacies of humanity, enduring far beyond the rise and fall of civilizations. Part 9. Humanity, Exploration in the Enduring Influence of the Map. The Piri Reis Map is not simply an artifact of the past, it is a living testament to human curiosity, a spark that transcends time and continues to ignite the imagination of explorers, scientists, and dreamers. The map as inspiration for exploration. For centuries, the map has drawn the attention of those seeking the unknown. Mariners of the Ottoman Empire and Renaissance Europe studied fragments of ancient charts to plan voyages across uncharted waters. Modern explorers reference the map as a symbol of ambition, a reminder that knowledge is built upon curiosity and courage. Archaeologists and historians continue to search for lost cities, hidden civilizations, and submerged landscapes hinted at by its meticulous lines. The map's existence suggests that human exploration is an enduring force, one that persists regardless of technology or era. It reminds us that the quest for discovery is fundamental to our species, rooted in our desire to understand the world and our place in it. Scientific and technological legacy. Modern science has been shaped by curiosity that the map continues to inspire. Oceanography and subglacial studies examine regions of Antarctica depicted centuries earlier. Cartography and GIS mapping techniques refine our understanding of ancient navigation methods. Interdisciplinary research connects geology, archaeology, and history to uncover clues about early human knowledge. Even today, researchers grapple with questions raised by the map. How could knowledge of distant continents exist long before formal exploration? What methods did ancient civilizations use to measure, observe, and record the world? Could fragments of lost knowledge still be hidden, waiting for discovery? The philosophical dimension of exploration. The Piri Reis Map is not only a chart, but also a philosophical invitation. It asks us to reflect on the essence of human curiosity, on the limits of our knowledge, and on the responsibility to preserve and expand understanding for future generations. It reminds us that every discovery, whether of a coastline, a star, or an idea, is part of a larger journey, linking generations of humans
who dared to question and explore. Legacy across generations. Through its lines, the map embodies a continuity of knowledge and imagination. Ancient mariners laid the foundation. Scholars preserved fragments across centuries. Modern researchers decode, measure, and interpret these clues. This legacy underscores a timeless truth. Humanity's greatest discoveries are not only those of geography, science, or technology, but those of the mind, the spirit, and the courage to venture into the unknown. A symbol of human potential. The Piri Reis Map serves as a mirror, reflecting what humans are capable of when curiosity is combined with diligence, imagination, and perseverance. It reminds us that knowledge is precious and fragile, yet resilient. Exploration is not bound by era or technology. Mysteries, rather than frustrating us, are invitations to push the boundaries of understanding. Enduring mysteries. As even the world becomes increasingly mapped and measured, the map's enigmas remain. Lost civilizations, prehistoric knowledge, celestial and terrestrial connections we have yet to comprehend? These questions fuel the human drive to explore, ensuring that the map's influence persists. It is not simply a historical curiosity, it is a catalyst for discovery, a timeless symbol that humanity's quest for understanding is eternal. Part 10. The Final Horizon of Mystery and Discovery. As we stand centuries after Piri Reis carefully inked the contours of continents and coasts, the map continues to transcend its material form, becoming a symbol of humanity's relentless pursuit of the unknown.
The map as a threshold. Every line, annotation, and coastline is more than a depiction of land. It is a threshold between the known and the unknowable, between what humanity has discovered and what remains hidden. The map challenges us to question the limits of human knowledge, to consider what ancient civilizations may have achieved, to wonder how fragments of wisdom survived the erosion of time. It reminds us that the pursuit of understanding is not linear and that knowledge is both fragile and eternal. Intersections of mystery and science. Modern exploration has illuminated parts of the mystery. Satellites confirm Antarctic coastlines depicted centuries earlier. Deep-sea expeditions trace submerged lands hinted at on the map. Archaeologists uncover ancient settlements that align with forgotten maritime routes. Yet the origin of the knowledge, the precise methods behind it, and the full scope of the civilizations that contributed remain elusive. The map is a paradox, simultaneously verifiable and enigmatic, scientific and mystical. Human curiosity across time. From the mariners of the Ottoman Empire to modern scientists and adventurers, the map illustrates a continuum of curiosity and exploration. Each generation builds upon the fragments of the previous. Each layer of knowledge adds depth, yet also exposes new questions. Each discovery fuels further exploration, echoing Piri Reis's original endeavor. It is a testament to the enduring human drive to understand, to chart, and to discover, a force that persists despite centuries, empires, and the limitations of tools and technology. The philosophy of the unknown. The map also represents a profound philosophical truth. Mystery is not a limitation, it is an invitation. The unknown challenges humans to think beyond immediate perception, to innovate, to imagine, and to seek connections between seemingly unrelated fragments of knowledge.
In a world increasingly dominated by certainty and data, the Piri Reis Map reminds us that wonder and speculation are just as valuable as empirical proof, and that the pursuit of knowledge is an endless journey. A bridge across time and imagination. The map connects centuries, continents, and minds, linking ancient mariners and scholars, inspiring modern explorers, scientists, and theorists, provoking imagination and questions that extend into the future. It is not only a historical artifact, but a living symbol of human potential, encouraging each generation to reach further, question deeper, and imagine what lies beyond the horizon. The invitation remains. Even now, the Piri Reis Map whispers to us across time. It calls on humanity to explore not only the physical world, but also the realms of knowledge, imagination, and the mysteries of history itself. It invites us to consider that much of the Earth and much of human understanding still lies hidden, waiting for those bold enough to seek it. In this sense, the map is eternal, not because all its secrets have been solved, but because its mystery endures, guiding curiosity, discovery, and imagination across the centuries. Part 11. The Final Revelation and Enduring Legacy. The Piri Reis Map, a fragile parchment inked over 5 centuries ago, has endured far beyond its material existence. It is more than a historical document. It is a bridge across time, a key to forgotten knowledge, and a testament to human curiosity. A journey through time. From the mariners of the Ottoman Empire to Renaissance explorers to modern scientists and adventurers, the map has continuously inspired those willing to question, explore, and imagine. It reminds us that knowledge is both fragile and enduring. Mysteries are not obstacles, but invitations. The pursuit of understanding transcends generations, cultures, and epochs. The enduring mysteries. Even today, the map keeps its secrets. How did Piri Reis obtain information about lands centuries away, unknown to his contemporaries? Were there civilizations far older than recorded history, capable of global navigation and cartography? What other fragments of ancient knowledge remain hidden, waiting to be uncovered? These questions remain unanswered. Yet it is their very persistence that gives the map its power. It is a reminder that humanity's quest for understanding is infinite, and that the pursuit itself holds as much value as any answer.
The map as a symbol. Beyond geography and measurement, the Piri Reis Map represents curiosity, the relentless desire to explore and comprehend, imagination, the ability to envision lands beyond sight, and connection, a bridge linking generations of seekers across centuries. It reflects our nature as humans, ever seeking, ever questioning, ever reaching toward the unknown. Lessons for the modern world. In our era of satellites, digital mapping, and global connectivity, the map still resonates. It teaches that technology may advance, but curiosity and imagination remain timeless. Knowledge can be lost and rediscovered, and each generation builds upon the fragments left by the past. Mystery is a catalyst for exploration, science, and philosophical reflection. A legacy beyond time. The Piri Reis Map is eternal, not because all its secrets are revealed, but because it inspires generations to seek, to question, and to dream. It embodies a truth that transcends eras. The world is larger, older, and far more mysterious than we often realize. Through ink and parchment, Piri Reis offers a legacy of wonder, inviting us to explore not only the earth, but the very limits of human knowledge and imagination. The final reflection. As we contemplate the map, we are reminded that history is alive, layered, and incomplete. Curiosity is the most enduring trait of humanity. Mystery is a gift, encouraging us to look beyond what is immediately visible. The Piri Reis Map is a symbol of human potential, an enduring beacon pointing toward the unknown. And in its shadows and faded lines, it whispers across the centuries. Keep seeking, keep imagining, keep exploring. For as long as there are questions, the map's influence will endure, a timeless testament to human curiosity, ingenuity, and the eternal pursuit of discovery.